Okay, so I've built my camera. All of these are now locked and hidden. Okay, so on my camera, I'm going to make a group. I'm going to flip this 180 just so my camera is facing Z forward. And then I'm going to make two more groups. One of them will be my camera aim offset. And then one of them is going to be my camera shake. And then this one will just be my camera offset. So the camera aim is going to be what is going to drive my actual camera, and then everything else is like so. Then currently, as you can see, everything else is in a single hierarchy. So I'm going to just go and nice and easy, I can just grab my camera offset and I can just throw that in my camera roll. So that should, all things considered, have this nice and simply go up here. So I'm going to actually display my camera real quick, or sorry, display my control mains pivot, so I can actually just snap this camera rig in there and just to be done with that location. All right, let's unhide that. So good, perfect. I'm going to change the color of my camera so you can see that the camera itself has the same pivot as everything else in this section. That's how this should be working. So the camera aim is going to go to my aim offset, and I'm going to constrain, aim constrain, and I can maintain the offset. You'll see that now my camera should focus on this. I need to get the distance between the two, so create measure tools, distance tool, and there are my 2 points. I'm going to have one of them live under with the camera, so if I zero that out, there we go, that lives with the camera, and now that I have that there, I can hide it. And then the other one is going to live with the camera aim. So if I go and I zero this out, this might go back to origin, so we should probably just snap it back to this position. Okay, and now I'm going to hide it. I'm going to move this into my do not touch group, just so that I cannot select it. I don't want to accidentally select anything in here. Okay, so now I need the attributes on my camera, or on my aim control, so let's just start building them. So generally when I do this, I want to actually pull the camera as well and go copy tab so I can see what I'm actually going to add. What controls do I need? So I need a focal length, so I'm going to say current focal length. Let's make sure we spell things correctly. So there's my focal length, so I'm going to add that. I'm going to have a enumerator for my prime lens. So this one will be my 8mm, 12mm, let's go 18mm, 22mm, 28. And these are just more for a starting point. You don't have to have them be exactly what I use, but I use them in this way because this is probably the lens packages that I tend to get most close to. And generally it's good to be able to just scrub quickly to find the level of the shot that you really need it to be at. And you know, there's always little variations here and there. And the more you have here, actually probably the more like fine tuning you can get to really quickly. That's kind of the plus side of this. So let's do 240 and then, not 340, we'll go 240. And then we'll do the last one at 300. And remember, that's an enumerator, so that's how that gets added. Then I need my variable lens. And that is everything I need for just the camera lens. Now I need one for near clip. And because my near clip is a default value of 0.01 or 0.01, I'm going to actually go 0.01 and have a minimum of 0.001. Just because I wanted to make sure it's kind of all right. My far clip now, I'm going to actually go a little bit bigger. So again, I want to make sure that minimum is not broken. So instead of this being 10,000, I'm going to go 100,000. That's going to override that. I'm going to use display frustum, but you can also make this a Boolean. So we can go frustum, and then just add that. And then I'm going to drive that. Camera shake, or 2D camera shake, I guess. Now this is just going to turn this guy on and off. So I'm going to throw that in there. Oh, that's right. It doesn't allow a 2D as its first name, so we're going to camera shake 2D. I'm going to add that. Oops. Am I adding all of these? I'm adding all these to the wrong thing. Okay, well, let me add them back to the aim control then. So 1 sec. All right, I have them all back on my aim control. So let's keep going down the list here. So my camera shake, let's make sure that goes on here as a Boolean. Camera shake 2D. Add that. We'll do the horizontal shake and camera shake and all that at the same time. Depth of field. Add that. We're going to make a focus shift for our focus distance. F-stop is going to be between, this is a float. Oh, this guy needs to actually be deleted, sorry. This focus shift is a float. Focus distance is going to be part of that. F-stop is a minimum of 1, a max of 64, and I usually have the default around 2.8 or 4. That's just the size of the camera's aperture. Focus region scale. So this is how much depth of field, how big it is. So I usually have a minimum of 0.001, but a default of 1 because that is Maya's default for that. I'm going to add that in there as well. Let's keep going. I want my overscan with a default value of 1, but a minimum of also 0.01. I actually will just have the minimum of 1 as well because we either see the shot or we're going to zoom in. So I'm just going to have that as that. Boolean. So I can have my safe action display. Safe title display, resolution gate and film gate. So film gate display and resolution gate display. And then I guess this one's always a fun one is you can add a float for gate mask if you'd like to, but generally like I don't really use this. I just keep this at 1 and this at black. But we can always just have that as a gate mask display. So add that as well. So that's giving us quite a lot of controls in here so far. All right, let's connect that all up nice and easy. So edit, connection editor, my aim control is on my right, my camera shape is on my, my camera shape's on my right, my aim control is on my left, and now I can just find display gate mask. Gate mask, resolution gate, film gate, safe title, safe action, overscan, can just go to overscan. There we are. Focus region scale will be under focus region scale. Now, later versions of Maya has, you can search for these. This is an older version, so I have to actually like hunt and find it. F-stop, I saw it earlier. Well, you can do depth of field. Just saw that as well. Depth of field. Camera shake 2D. Will be under camera shake. Oh man, this is always a fun one. Display. It's none of the Redshift stuff. Clipping planes. Nope. As much fun as it is to hunt and find these things, I'm going to pause this and then just find them all. All right, so with all of that kind of set up, we can actually go and look through this camera now. And I called it my render cam, and we can actually start to turn these guys on and off. So depth of field is on, safe action, I get that, safe title, I get that, film gate on, resolution gate, and then I can have my gate mask to kind of help me deal with this. So if I want to see what my actual shot looks like, this is everything that's going to be in the actual shot. So as I start to like move some of these up and about, you can kind of see this is what my actual render resolution is going to look like. Everything outside of this is not going to be seen. So that's that part. So now that we're here, only thing that we did not have set up is the prime lens, variable lens, and the focal length. So this is a set-driven key. So we're going to make a set-driven key, and I'm just going to go driver to driven from this same control. So my prime lens is going to drive my current focal length. So it currently needs to be 8, so that I can key that, and then 12, 12, key, 18, 18, key, 22, 22, key, 28, key, and I'm just going to go all the way up to 3. I guess this was 240, so we're going to key that. But generally, it's a pretty simple, but just a little bit more time-consuming way to work on this side of it. But it makes it so it's a lot easier once you kind of set this up so that it'll actually like run functionally pretty similar to how a real camera would work. We can kind of just throw this on there as a way for us to not just eyeball, but like we get a very good, we can move the camera around and then change the focal length without it actually like having to remove the camera. So that's kind of the plus side to this workflow. All right, so now that I have all of those set up, we go Windows, Node Editor. There is my camera, my aim control, and then here is my animation for my focal length. So I need this add double linear, and we are going to basically add our variable lens to our input 1, and then our output of our camera animation into our input 2, and we are going to output this into our current lens. So where's my current focal length? There it is, and we're just going to plug that in like so. So now we can actually see this is working, and we have to make sure that this gets plugged in as well in our connection editor. So back to our camera, because all of that work, and then if we don't connect the actual focal length, then it doesn't do anything. So this current focal length needs to actually drive the camera's focal length. And we can check it by seeing, does that actually move the camera? Once we see the frustum, we can actually see that moving. All right, so I'm going to call this one done. This is just setting up our baseline attributes, and then everything after this will be the camera shape.